So in this video, we will see how to tackle comprehension questions in UPSC. अब आप कॉम्प्रिहेंशन के क्वेश्चन अगर यूपीएससी में देखेंगे तो एक बात होती है कि क्वेश्चन का नेचर बहुत ही कॉम्प्लेक्स होता है। तो ये जो पैराग्राफ है हमको इसको बहुत अच्छे से एनालाइज करते आना चाहिए। अब देखिए जब आप पैराग्राफ एनालाइज करने जाते हैं ना तो एक चीज़ तो देखिए रीडिंग स्पीड बहुत ही ज़्यादा मैटर करती है। ओके, तो अगर आपने बहुत अच्छी रीडिंग करी हुई है तो जो मैं आपको ट्रिक्स और टेक्निक्स बता रही हूँ, अगर आप बहुत ही अच्छे एविड रीडर हो तो जो मैं आपको टिप्स और टेक्निक्स बता रही हूँ उसकी आपको ज़रूरत भी नहीं पड़ेगी कॉम्प्रिहेंशन सॉल्व करने के लिए। ओके, लेकिन अगर आपकी रीडिंग स्पीड उतनी अच्छी नहीं है, अगर उतने एनालिटिकल स्किल्स अच्छे नहीं है, तो इन ट्रिक्स और टेक्निक्स की ज़रूरत है क्वालिफाई करने के लिए। देखिए सी सैट का पेपर टफ है, टफ इन द सेंस कि क्वेश्चन अगर अगर हमें 66 मार्क्स लाने को नहीं कहा होता तो देन अगर उसको कट ऑफ में इंक्लूड करते और सब प्रैक्टिस करके आते तो रियली इसके साथ बहुत ही टफ हो जाता। बट क्योंकि 66 मार्क्स के लिए है ना तो देन डेफिनेटली सीसैट को टैकल किया जा सकता है। अब देखिए कॉम्प्रिहेंशन जो है तो उसके बेसिक समझते हैं। देखिए पहली बात तो जो कॉम्प्रिहेंशन का पैसेज दिया रहता है, तो जब कॉम्प्रिहेंशन को सॉल्व करते हैं तो उसे स्टिमुलस कहते हैं। ओके, और ये जो क्वेश्चन दिया रहता है इसको हम क्वेश्चन स्टेम कहते हैं। तो एक्चुअली जब आप कॉम्प्रिहेंशन करते हैं तो आपको स्टिमुलस भी एनालाइज करना होता है और क्वेश्चन स्टेम भी एनालाइज करना होता है। ओके, तो हम दोनों को एनालाइज करना सीखेंगे और सीखेंगे कि कैसे कॉम्प्रिहेंशन के क्वेश्चन जो हैं वो सही किए जा सकते हैं। सो लेट अस बिगिन। ना देखिए, जब भी आपको स्टिमुलस दिया होता है, ठीक है, मैंने कहा कि जो पैसेज है उसको हम स्टिमुलस बुलाते हैं। तो जब भी आपको स्टिमुलस दिया होता है ना तो पहले हमें ये डिटरमाइन करना पड़ता है कि जो आपका स्टिमुलस है उसमें आर्ग्यूमेंट है या सिर्फ फैक्चुअल स्टेटमेंट्स है। ओके, और दूसरी चीज हम ये आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं कि जो स्टिमुलस में दिया हुआ है उसमें प्रेमाइस क्या है और कंक्लूजन क्या है। ओके, और अभी मैं आपको प्रेमाइस और कंक्लूजन दोनों ही आइडेंटिफाई करना सिखाऊंगी, ठीक है ना। तो देखिए कोई भी जो लेट से आपका कॉम्प्रिहेंशन का स्टिमुलस होता है उसमें देर आर नंबर ऑफ प्रेमाइसेस एंड देयर कैन बी नंबर ऑफ कंक्लूजन। ओके, तो देखिए क्या होता है जब आपसे मेन आइडिया पूछा जाता है ना पैसेज में, तो फर्स्ट यू हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई दोज नंबर ऑफ कंक्लूजन्स और फिर उन कंक्लूजन का जो कंक्लूजन मिल रहा हो, यानी कि ये वाले जो कंक्लूजन है वो प्रिमाइस के जैसे काम करे इस कंक्लूजन के लिए, तो वो मेन आइडिया हो जाता है। सो दैट इज व्हाट आई एम टेलिंग दैट यू हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई प्रिमाइस एंड कंक्लूजन। तो अब देखिए प्रिमाइस क्या होता है ये हम जानने की कोशिश करते हैं। अब देखिए प्रिमाइस क्या होता है, एक फैक्ट हो सकता है, एक प्रोपोजिशन हो सकता है। प्रोपोजिशन मतलब कि कोई आर्ग्यूमेंट जो प्रपोज किया गया है, जरूरी नहीं है कि वो ट्रुथ हो, वैलिड हो, ठीक है ना, तो उसको हम प्रोपोजिशन कहेंगे। स्टेटमेंट फ्रॉम विच अ कंक्लूजन इज मेड। तो देखिए प्रिमाइस जो है वो आर्ग्यूमेंट या स्टेटमेंट है जिससे कंक्लूजन डिराइव किया जाता है। ओके, तो प्रिमाइस जो है वो रीजन देता है आपको कंक्लूजन डिराइव करने के लिए। ओके, तो देखिए अगर आपको प्रिमाइस को आइडेंटिफाई करना है तो आपको ये क्वेश्चंस पूछने अपने आप से, व्हाट रीजन हैज द ऑथर यूज टू परसुएड मी, व्हाई शुड आई बिलीव दिस आर्गुमेंट, व्हाट एविडेंस एग्जिस्ट। ओके, तो ये बेसिकली क्वेश्चंस जो हैं वो आपको प्रिमाइस आइडेंटिफाई करने में हेल्प करेंगे। अब देखिए जैसे जैसे हम एग्जाम्पल करेंगे आपको क्लियर हो जाएगा कि प्रिमाइस को कैसे आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं। उसके पहले कंक्लूजन देख लेते हैं, बिकॉज कंक्लूजन को प्रिमाइस से अलग भी तो करना है। तो देखिए कंक्लूजन जो है दैट कैन बी डिफाइंड एज अ स्टेटमेंट और जजमेंट दैट फॉलोज फ्रॉम वन और मोर रीजन। ओके, तो देखिए क्या है, रीजन मतलब क्या हो गया, आपका बेसिक प्रिमाइस हो गया। ओके, एंड जो आपका कंक्लूजन है वो ये रीजन या प्रिमाइस से डिराइव्ड है, तो मतलब यही बोल रहे हैं कि योर स्टेटमेंट और जजमेंट फॉलोज फ्रॉम वन और मोर रीजन। ओके, सो नाउ व्हाट इज द ऑथर ड्राइविंग एट, व्हाट डज द ऑथर वांट मी टू बिलीव एंड व्हाट पॉइंट फॉलोज फ्रॉम द अदर। ओके, तो मतलब अगर आप ये पूछेंगे कि मतलब ऑथर सेंट्रली कहना क्या चाह रहे हैं, किस बारे में कहना चाह रहे हैं, what does he wants you to believe and what follows from other। तो अगर बहुत सारे प्रेमाइसेस या कंक्लूजन दिए और वो किसी एक पॉइंट को लीड कर रहे हैं तो हम उसको कंक्लूजन बुलाने लगते हैं। ओके, सो ये देखिए होता क्या है ना कि जब भी कंक्लूजन आपको दिया है तो कंक्लूजन इज द पॉइंट दैट द ऑथर ट्राइज टू प्रूव बाय यूजिंग अनदर स्टेटमेंट। ओके, तो कंक्लूजन अकेले एग्जिस्ट नहीं कर सकता, कंक्लूजन के पीछे प्रिमाइस जरूर होता है, ठीक है। एक सेट ऑफ प्रिमाइसेस दे करके आपको एक पैराग्राफ दे सकता है, लेकिन विदाउट प्रिमाइसेस कोई कंक्लूजन नहीं होता। ओके, नाउ इन एक्सप्रेसिंग आर्ग्यूमेंट्स ऑथर ऑफन यूज द फॉलोइंग वर्ड्स टू इंट्रोड्यूस प्रिमाइसेस एंड कंक्लूजन। तो देखिए हम ये पता कर लेते हैं। देखिए आपको अगर बिकॉज दिया हुआ है, सिंस दिया हुआ है, फॉर दिया हुआ है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल दिया हुआ है, फॉर दैट रीजन, इन दैट, गिवन दैट, एज इंडिकेटेड बाई, ड्यू टू, ओइंग टू, दिस कैन बी सीन फ्रॉम, वी नो दिस बाई। ओके, अगर ये वर्ड्स दिए हुए हैं तो बेसिकली ये प्रेमाइज को इंडिकेट करते हैं। एंड कंक्लूजन को क्या इंडिकेट करता है? thus, therefore, hence, consequently, as a result, so, accordingly, clearly, must be that, shows that, conclude that, follows that, for this reason। okay, सो ये सारे आपकी क्या शो करते हैं? प्रिमाइस शो करते हैं, और ये सारे आपकी कंक्लूजन शो करते हैं। ज़रूरी नहीं है कि कभी भी आपको कंक्लूजन मिलेगा पैसेज में तो ये वर्ड्स दे के ही दे देगा, या प्रिमाइस मिलेगा तो ये वर्ड्स देख के ही दे देगा। बट अगर आप ये लिस्ट को 3-4 बार देख लेंगे एंड देन आप जा करके देखिए प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस, तो आपको पता चलेगा कि कहीं ना कहीं मुझे प्रिमाइस और कंक्लूजन यहाँ से पता चलता है। ओके, तो चलिए ये चीज़ हो गई। अब कुछ करते हैं। अब देखिए जैसे आपको ये दिया हुआ है, ह्यूमंस कैन नॉट लिव ऑन वीनस बिकॉज द सरफेस टेम्परेचर इज टू हाई। ओके, सो द सरफेस टेम्परेचर इज टू हाई इज अ प्रिमाइस। okay, the surface temperature is too high is a premise, because हमें हमें बिकॉज लिखा हुआ है यहाँ पे। ओके, दिस इज वन ऑफ द इंडिकेटर, एंड ऑल्सो यू नो कि सरफेस टेम्परेचर इज टू हाई अगर बोला जा रहा है तो ये कोई कंक्लूजन नहीं है, इसको सपोर्ट करने के लिए कुछ नहीं है सेंटेंस में। ओके, तो ये क्या है? एक फैक्ट है या एक प्रोपोजिशन है, तो ये प्रिमाइस है। और ह्यूमंस कैन नॉट लिव ऑन वीनस इज अ कंक्लूजन। okay, human cannot live on Venus is a conclusion। now you now you can see this। okay, कि okay, so I think you must have understood from this very easy example that what is a premise and what is a conclusion। Okay, now let us move forward। ओके, नाउ अगर देखिए हम इसको ऐसे विजुअलाइज करते हैं कि ऑथर आपसे बोल रहा है कि ह्यूमंस कैन नॉट लिव ऑन वीनस। ओके, तो रिस्पोंडेंट क्या बोलता है? रियली क्यों क्यों नहीं रह सकते ह्यूमंस वीनस पे? तो देन द ऑथर इज सेइंग दैट सरफेस टेम्परेचर इज टू हाई। ओके, so actually you come to know that this is a conclusion and this is answered by this premise। okay, so now let us see another example। now see, this is saying the economy is in tatters, therefore we must end this war। okay, now therefore is a conclusion indicator, so we must end this war is a conclusion। so what is the premise? The economy is in tatters। okay, now see, if this premise is there, the economy is in tatters। okay, so definitely this is not a conclusion unless and until it is followed by, it is like followed by a premise which is telling that why is economy in tatters। okay, so this can be a conclusion, but here it is not a conclusion, because there must exist some reason that why is economy in tatters। okay, but that premise is not been given, but it is given that we must end this war। okay, so therefore includes a introduces a conclusion, and the first sentence is a premise। okay, here now see, look at this, we must reduce our budget due to the significant cost overruns, okay, we experienced during production। now if you see the earlier list, due to is a premise indicator। okay, so we must reduce our budget is a conclusion। fine, why? because ड्यू टू क्या बोलता है कि आपको ये बता रहा है कि प्रिमाइज क्या है कि देर आर सिग्निफिकेंट कॉस्ट ओवररन। ओके, एंड देन व्हाट इज द कंक्लूजन? कंक्लूजन इज दैट बिकॉज देर इज सिग्निफिकेंट cost overrun, so there you must um, it is saying we experience during production, yes, so we must reduce our budget। Okay, so we must reduce our budget. This is conclusion. So this is how you can identify premise. Okay, now look at this. Fraud has caused the insurance industry millions of dollars in lost revenue. Okay, thus the Congress will pass a stricter fraud control bill since the insurance industry has one of the most powerful lobby. Okay, so see what the question is saying. Thus obviously tells you that this is a conclusion. Okay, since tells you that this is a premise. Okay, so you know the insurance industry has one of the most powerful lobby is a premise. Okay, you know that Congress will pass a stricter fraud control bill is a conclusion. Okay, and the fraud has caused the insurance industry millions of dollars in lost revenue. This is obviously a premise because this cannot be a conclusion in this sense. So there are two premises in this small paragraph. Okay, there are two premises in this small paragraph and there is a conclusion. Okay, so I think now it is easy for you to determine what is the premise and what is the conclusion. Now see, there are two premises. Okay, so see, first we have a premise and then we have a conclusion and then we again have a premise. Okay, so this premise is actually saying what it is adding more support to this. Okay, because this insurance industry has been dealing with fraud, so the powerful lobbies of the insurance industries so the powerful lobbies of the insurance industries will want that Congress should pass a stricter fraud control bill. So you have a conclusion this. So actually this premise also leads to this conclusion and this premise supports your conclusion and conclusion is stated in the middle. So never think that conclusion will always be stated in the last or anything. Okay. So this is the trick and technique to analyze any statement. Okay. मनी टू लोन ओके तो इसको हम कहते हैं कंक्लूजन प्रेमाइज इंडिकेटर ओके कंक्लूजन प्रेमाइज इंडिकेटर का क्या मतलब है कि इसमें ये सेम इसमें आपको कंक्लूजन भी मिलेगा आपको प्रेमाइज भी मिलेगा अब देखिए अगर आप इस स्टेटमेंट को देखिए हायर डेट हैड फोर्स कंज्यूमर टू लोअर देयर सेविंग्स ओके तो हायर डेट ने कंज्यूमर्स को फोर्स किया अपनी सेविंग्स कम करने के लिए ये तो प्रेमाइज है ना ये प्रेमाइस है क्यों क्योंकि अगर आप देखोगे इसमें इसका रीजन खुद ही दिया है एक आर्ग्यूमेंट है क्या कि हायर डेट की वजह से कंज्यूमर जो है वो सेविंग्स नहीं कर पा रहे हैं और अगर कंज्यूमर सेविंग्स नहीं करेंगे तो बैंक्स के पास लेस मनी होगी लोन करने के लिए सो दिस इज द कंक्लूजन ओके दिस इज द कंक्लूजन तो इसको हम कहते हैं कंक्लूजन प्रेमाइस इंडिकेटर ओके सो हायर डेट हैज फोर्स कंज्यूमर टू लोअर देयर सेविंग इज अ प्रेमाइस okay and banks now have less money to loan is the conclusion okay so let us practice some more how to recognize premise and conclusion now you see given that the price of steel is rising so given is the word used we will no longer be able to offer discount on our car parts okay so this is the premise because this is giving you some information because the price of steel is rising so there will be no more discount so this is the conclusion and this is the premise so it might look you very basic but we are learning how to identify premise and conclusion and slowly we will build how to answer the question as well okay now see the political situation in Somalia is unstable owing to the ability of individual warlords to maintain powerful armed forces okay uh, now see the political situation in Somalia is unstable okay so now you will ask why because standalone this statement makes no sense okay we are just concluding or we are saying that political situation in Somalia is unstable why because their individual warlords are able to maintain powerful armed forces okay so this is the reason this is the premise and this is the conclusion okay so what is the conclusion here the political situation in Somalia is unstable and why the premise is the ability of warlords to maintain powerful armed forces okay now look at this since we need to have many different interests to sustain us the scientist belief must be incorrect okay now it is saying the scientist belief must be incorrect Okay, so they are trying to have an opinion about something. So why is the scientist belief incorrect? Because we need to have many different interests to sustain us. Okay, so in this case, because the word since is used, we already know that this is the premise. Okay, we already know that this is the premise and the scientist belief must be incorrect. This is the conclusion. Okay, this is the conclusion. So this is how you can do these kind of statements. Now let us move forward. Now it is saying, so as indicated by the newly released data, we should push forward with our efforts to recolonize the forest with snowy tree crickets. Okay, so now it is saying, so as indicated by the newly released data, we should push forward with our efforts to recolonize the forest with snowy tree crickets. Okay, so we should push forward with our efforts to recolonize the forest with the snowy tree crickets. This is not giving some premise. What is the reason? Why should we recolonize the forest with snowy tree crickets? Okay, so this is the premise. This cannot be the premise. Why? Because it is not giving us any fact or argument. Okay, this seems to be a conclusion. Why? Because it is indicated by the newly released data. So here newly released data is the premise and we should push forward with our efforts to recolonize the forest with snowy tree cricket is the conclusion. Okay, this is the conclusion. So this is how you analyze the statement. Let us move forward. Now look at this. Television has a harmful effect on society. This can be seen from the poor performance of children who watch significant amount of television and from the fact that children who watch more than 6 hours of television a day tend to read less than non-television watching children. Okay, now see, television has a harmful effect on society. Why? Okay, so something indicates that this television has a harmful effect on our society can be a conclusion. Okay, now this can be seen from the poor performance of the children who watch significant amount of television. Okay, so this is the premise. Okay, because children are watching a significant amount of television. Okay, one premise is this, and not only that, okay, they are also saying that children who watch more than 6 hours of television also tend to read less. So this is also the premise. So we have two premises and one conclusion, which is very apparent. See here, the conclusion came in the very first statement itself. Okay. Now, let us look at some other statements. Okay. Now, see, look at this. The rapid diminishment of the ecosystem of the Amazon threatens the entire planet. Okay. Consequently, we must take immediate steps to convince the Brazilian government that plant development projects need to be curtailed for the simple reason that these development projects will greatly accelerate the loss of currently protected land. Okay, so now rapid diminishment of the ecosystem of the Amazon threatens the entire planet. Okay, now if you ask why in this question, so you will get the answer that why why it threatens the entire planet, because there is diminishment of the ecosystem. So this is not conclusion. Okay, this is an argument. Okay, this is an argument. Now it is saying consequently we must take immediate steps to convince the Brazilian government that planned development projects need to be curtailed. Okay, so because we need to convince Brazilian government, okay, so this is saying what? This is saying this is a conclusion. Okay, because of this, because this is the consequence because of this premise. Okay, the rapid diminishment of the ecosystem of the Amazon threatens the entire planet. So this becomes our conclusion, and see, this is also a premise. What? That these development projects will greatly accelerate the loss of currently protected land. Okay, so we have again two premises: the rapid diminishment of the society and sorry of the Amazon threatens, and this last statement, and then in the middle we find the conclusion. Okay, so you can see any comprehension you read. Okay, so it is not necessary that your conclusion will come in the first or the last or the middle. It can come anywhere. Okay, it can come anywhere. We need to understand what is premise and what is conclusion. Okay, now see, many of the students are confused what an assumption is. So assumption is an unstated premise. Okay, now you know how to like recognize a premise, and if that premise is not stated in your a paragraph, okay, or your stimulus, so that will be an assumption. Okay, so if we take that assumption in combination with the stimulus or the paragraph, then suddenly your paragraph becomes much more valid. So when they are asking about what is the assumption, okay, now you know that it is a unstated premise is an assumption. Now you know how to identify a premise. Okay, now when we know how to identify a premise, then we also know how to identify an assumption when it comes. Okay, so now let us read this question which came. Okay, now see, reading comprehension are a lot more complex, but some of you are telling me that you have a problem in assumption. Okay, so for assumption is actually the pinnacle of the reading comprehension. You will not find question tougher than this. Okay, but since you are all of you are facing your problems in assumption, I'll first deal with assumption only. Now look at this. What is assumption? Assumption is basically an unstated premise. Okay, so your conclusion cannot be an assumption. An unstated premise is an assumption. Okay. And assumption can have a great effect on the validity of the argument. Okay. Because that assumption secretly means that your conclusion is true. Okay. So like if we compare an argument to a house and the premises are its wall. Okay. And conclusion is its roof. Okay. So like assumption are the foundation, because see, foundation is the most neglected, but it is on this invisible foundation that your house stands. Okay, so your assumption is invisible, but it is like the foundation of your conclusion. So it might be true, it might not be true, but still it is very important for your argument. Okay, so like let us understand what is an assumption. Now all male citizens of Athens had the right to vote, therefore Socrates had the right to vote in Athens. Okay, so all male citizens of the Athens had a right to vote. This is a premise. Okay, therefore Socrates had the right to vote in Athens. This is a conclusion. But wait, Socrates is the new term is introduced in this conclusion. Okay, who said that Socrates is a male and who said that Socrates is a citizen of Athens? Okay, because nothing has been mentioned about Socrates, and you are saying that he has the right to vote. So that means you are assuming that Socrates is a male and Socrates is a citizen of Athens. Okay, so this is how you find an assumption. Okay, this is how you find an assumption. Now see, whenever you have to find an assumption, so if you have a conclusion, okay, if you have a conclusion and if you have any new information in the conclusion, okay, so that means that is the link of you to finding out what is the assumption. Okay, so I'll state in clearly in Hindi also कि अगर आपको एक बार premise समझ में आ गया है कि all male citizens of Athens had the right to vote and therefore Socrates had the right to vote in Athens. Okay, so इन दिस स्टेटमेंट अगर आप देखिए तो नया चीज क्या इंट्रोड्यूस किया है उन्होंने सोक्रेट्स, और ये सोक्रेट्स को ये राइट टू वोट से लिंक करने के लिए उन्होंने कुछ अजम्पशन लिया है। वहां से हमें पता चल जाएगा कि आपके आर्ग्यूमेंट का अजम्पशन क्या है। ओके, सो ये न्यू योर रॉ पीसेस ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन जो आपको आर्ग्यूमेंट में मिल रहा है ना, वो आपको अजम्पशन तक ले जाएगा। फाइन, now see, look at this question. People who read a lot are more intelligent than other people. Okay, so this is like you are having a okay. So look at this. People who read a lot are more intelligent than other people. Okay, so this happens. This looks like a premise. Okay, that it is saying the people who read a lot more are more intelligent than other people. Okay, then thus reading must cause a person to be intelligent. Okay, now see, in this question no new or rote pieces have been introduced, but see, you are saying that reading must cause a person to be intelligent. Okay, and you are saying reading must cause. Okay, you are not saying that reading causes or reading is likely to cause. Okay, you are saying reading must cause. So you are like assuming one thing is that those people who are already intelligent read a lot of books or they read a lot, and one thing is those who read a lot becomes intelligent because they are reading a lot. Okay, so there are both of these assumptions. They have stated one of these assumptions. So they have stated what, that because you read a lot, that is because you become intelligent. So now people can like become intelligent because of various things. Okay, not every intelligent person reads a lot or anything like that. Okay, because this is like comprehension. So thus reading must cause a person to be intelligent. So they are assuming that must cause when it is saying that nothing other matters. Okay, only thing matter is what, if you read a lot you become intelligent. This is trying to say that because must is used. Okay, so we have to like be very careful about when we see must and these kind of things. Okay, so what people will say that sleeping also may cause a person to be intelligent. Regular exercise, high protein diet, genetics, all of these are responsible for people becoming intelligent. Okay, so but in this it is not considered. It is saying that because reading, one person reads a lot then he becomes intelligent. Okay, so this is like a assumption. Okay, so there will be two type of assumptions. One will be supporter assumptions, in which assumption will link new or wrong element in the stimulus or fill logical gaps in the argument. So like we saw in the Socrates argument. And second is defender assumption. These assumptions contain statement that eliminate ideas or assumption that would undermine the conclusion. So any other factor will cause you to be more intelligent is not considered here. So in this sense they defend the argument by showing that this is possible, that a possible source of attack has been eliminated. Okay, so because of these the author use must, and because of reading people become intelligent inside. So we call that kind of assumption a defender assumption, and we call this kind of assumption a supporter assumption. Okay, so now let us see some examples. Now look at this question. Despite the fact that many professional writer considers travel writing a lesser form of journalism. Okay, so now it is telling that this is obviously a premise. Okay, what is premise? That many professional writer consider travel writing a lesser form of journalism. Okay, that people consider. Okay, it is in fact a legitimate journalistic enterprise. Okay, but it is saying that it is a legitimate journalistic enterprise since it employs classical journalism. Now since we know is always indicating our premise. Okay, so since it enjoys classical journalism techniques such as detailed research into the history of a given locale and extensive interview with local resident. Okay, so now see, it is saying that what is the conclusion here? Conclusion is that it is in fact a legitimate journalistic enterprise. What? Travel journalism. Okay, and what is the premise? Classical journalism techniques such as detailed research of a given locale and extensive interview with local resident is employed by travel journalism. Okay, now why this is a legitimate journalistic enterprise according to the author? Because it is saying that classical journalism technique are used. Okay, so classical journalism technique, if you are using in any kind of writing, then it makes that journalism legitimate journalism. Okay, this is the assumption we find. Okay, this is the assumption we find. Now let us examine these like question stems. So if a literary work is crafted via extensive interviews of noteworthy subject, it should be viewed as legitimate. Okay, so nowhere it is like mention noteworthy subject, so we'll not consider this. Since travel writing follows the methods of traditional journalism, it will produce intriguing material for readers. Now nowhere this traditional journalism has been mentioned. Okay, any writing that does not employ classical technique is a lesser form of journalism. It is also not said. It is saying it is in fact a legitimate journalistic enterprise. So this is also not our assumption. If a literary pursuit involves classical journalism techniques, then it should be considered legitimate journalistic enterprise. This we were able to find it out because we identified our premise well, because we identified our conclusion well, so we were able to find this out very well. Okay, so this is a correct assumption for us. The interview process used by travel writers can provide further information about the history of a region. We don't have to, because we were able to identify what is the correct thing. Okay, so this is how we do our assumption question. Fine. Now look at this question. So look at this. During the production of orange juice, calcium is sometimes added as a nutritional supplement. Certain individuals are allergic to calcium, and drinking orange juice fortified with calcium can cause an allergic reaction. Fortunately, some types of orange juice do not have calcium added during production. So calcium allergic individual can drink these orange juices without inducing an allergic reaction to calcium. Okay, now see what is the conclusion here. So calcium allergic individual can drink these juices without inducing an allergic reaction to calcium. Okay, because it is saying that some types of orange juice are not adding calcium during production. Okay, so this is a premise. Okay, this is a conclusion. Now in conclusion, let us find what is the gap is. Okay, so if you see what is the gap, that in these orange juices, okay, so calcium allergic individual can drink these orange juices without inducing an allergic reaction to calcium. So we are assuming that in natural orange juice there is no calcium. Okay, there is no calcium that can cause allergic reaction. Okay, so only when calcium is added from outside, then only it causes allergic reaction. Okay, because they are saying you can drink you can drink orange juice if we have not added calcium. Okay, so what is the point here? That we have identified the assumption. Now let us look at the assumption. There are no other substances beside calcium that typically present in the orange juice that can cause allergic reaction. Okay, so this statement cannot be our assumption, because we are exactly talking about certain individual are allergic to calcium. So their calcium allergy only matters here. So other substance allergy do not matter here. Orange juice has the same nutritional value whether calcium is added or not. We don't like, we are talking about allergic people. Okay, calcium allergic individual cannot ingest any calcium without having an allergic reaction. Okay, that is also not stated. Okay, that is also not stated. And it is saying calcium is often added to other beverages beside orange juices. Okay, there is no point that this assumption can be true. In orange juice that does not have calcium added during production, calcium is not naturally present in quantities that can cause allergic reaction. This is our assumption. Okay, why? Because they are saying, so we have this orange juice, we have not added calcium into it, you can drink it. Okay, because you are allergic to calcium and this does not contain any calcium that can cause allergic reaction. Okay, so now these are the two assumption which comes near. But see, you can look at this. Calcium allergic individual cannot ingest any calcium without having an allergic reaction. This is also not the assumption. Okay, this is also not the assumption, because we are saying that they can drink this juice. Okay, so our this last one is our assumption. Fine. Now this is the question from UPSC. Now because we have read so much about assumption, now let us try whether we can find it or not. Okay, so now it is saying in some places in the world the productivity of staples such as rice and wheat had reached a plateau. Okay, now look at this question. It is saying in some places in the world, the productivity of staples and rice has reached a plateau. Okay, looks like a premise because does not look like a conclusion. Okay, neither new strains nor fancy agrochemicals are raising the yield, nor is there much unfarmed land left that is suitable to be brought under the plow. If a global temperature continues to rise, some places will become unsuitable for farming. Application of this technology has overcome these problems. Agriculture technology is changing fast. Much of this change is brought about by the affluent farmers in the West. Techniques developed in the West are being adapted in some places to make tropical crops more productive. Technology is of little use if it is not adapted in the developing world. that applies as much as to the existing farming techniques as it does to the latest advantage in genetic modification. Extended to smallholders, subsistence farmers of Africa and Asia, the best of today's agriculture practices as how much fertilizer to apply and when would lead to a greater increased availability of food. Okay, now see, something is coming about here. We heard about a lot of premises. Okay, the only thing we are going to like something which has been concluded here is that if we do all these things to make our agriculture better, so it will lead to a greatly increased availability of food for humanity. Therefore, what we are assuming, because of all these reasons are stated, that yields are decreasing and everything, so there is like lack of availability of food. Okay, there is like lack of availability of food, or there is like okay, there is lack of availability of food. So would things like better road facilities to allow for carriage of surpluses to market and reduce wastage. Okay, so basically what they are saying is that you have to have better road storage facilities to allow for Okay, now let us look at this question. This came in UPSC. So it is saying in some places in the world, the productivity of staples such as rice and wheat has reached a plateau. Okay, so it has reached a plateau. It can be a premise or it can be a conclusion. We have to see whether like what the comprehension is going to be. Okay, now neither new strains nor fancy agrochemicals are raising the yield. Premise. Okay, nor is there much unfarmed land left that is suitable to be brought under the plow premise. Okay, if global temperature continues to rise, some places will become unsuitable for farming. So now see, there can be assumption involved in this. Okay, because what it is saying that if global temperature continues to rise, some places will become unsuitable for farming. That is, it means that temperature is only leading to like decrease in or making land unsuitable for farming. Okay, there are no other factors. Fine, there is no pollution, nothing else is making the land unsuitable for farming. So if you see, if you analyze, there can be like something here. So it is saying temperature is making unsuitable for farming. Temperature rise is making it unsuitable for farming. So if you see here, it was telling that productivity is decreasing, new strains and agrochemicals are not working. Okay, and there is no more space left. Okay, so these are our premise, but when we are saying that if global temperature continues to rise, some places will become unsuitable for farming. Okay, so there is a conclusion, and what is the assumption here, that because of temperature rise, it is becoming unsuitable for farming. Okay, now application of technology can help overcome these problems. So it is saying how agriculture is changing fast. Much of this change is brought by affluent farmers in the West America. Okay, techniques developed in the West are adapted in some places to make tropical crops more productive. Okay, again looks like a premise. There is no conclusion here. Technology is of little use if it is not adopted. Okay, so see, you cannot like find any assumption here, because yes, technology is there, but if we don't use it, we don't adapt it. Okay, so then it will be of little use. Okay, so that means sometimes it is trying to state that we are not adapting to technology. Okay, but here it makes no sense because our question is not like that. In developing world, that applies as much as to existing farming techniques as it does to the latest advances in genetic modification. Okay, so see what it is saying in so techniques are being like adapted in West. In developing world also, if we adapt to existing farming techniques and latest genetic modifications, so it may help. So extending to smallholders and subsistence farmers of Africa the best of today's agriculture practices in such simple manner as how much fertilizer to apply and when would it greatly increased availability of food for humanity, so would other things like better road storage facility to allow for carriage or surpluses of market to and reduce wastage. Now it is saying which of the following assumption has been made. So development of agriculture technology is confined to developed countries. Now see, it is saying much of this change is brought by affluent farmers in the West America. Okay. In the next line, they are saying techniques developed in the West are being adapted in some places to make tropical crop more productive. Okay, so tropical areas, what that is developing area only, na? So it is not confined to developed countries. Agriculture technology is not adapted in developing countries. Now it is saying that they are adapting in tropical crops to make tropical crops more productive. Okay, so agriculture technology is not adapted in developing countries. It is not that. They are only saying that if developing worlds also use these technologies, then it can help. Okay. So it is not that agricultural technology, developing countries are not willing to accept agriculture technology. So you get the answer D, neither one nor two. Okay. No assumption of this kind has been made. Now look at this question. It is saying poor countries need to bring about change in their existing farming techniques. That is true because see, it is definitely saying this thing in the statement. Okay, so this is definitely saying what it is saying, that in developing world that applies as much to the existing farming techniques, okay, as it does to the latest advantage. So if people will adapt to new farming techniques or will change their farming techniques, it must help. Okay, so this assumption has been definitely made that poor countries need to bring about change in their existing farming techniques. Okay, and developed countries have better infrastructure and they waste less food. Nowhere has it been indicated or anything like that that they don't waste food. Okay, or they have better infrastructure. Nowhere it has been stated. Okay, or something like that means it's hidden in conclusion. Nowhere it is such that. Okay, so we get one only. Okay, we get here one only. Now based on the following assumption, based on the above passage, the following assumption have been made. Growing enough food for future generation will be a challenge. Okay, now see, we already found a conclusion. Okay, we already found a conclusion, what? That this will lead to a greatly increased availability of food. Okay, so because of these all problems that are happening, it is saying that food security or availability of food is decreasing, or there is a challenge of availability of food. Okay, and especially for future generation, because now if the yields are decreasing, obviously yields will decrease in future also. So definitely this assumption holds. So we found the conclusion, we found the assumption. Okay, and corporate farming is a viable option for food security in poor countries. That is nowhere stated, so we get one only as our answer. So this is how you can do your comprehension. Okay. Let's look at this question. Okay, let us read one by one. So it is saying natural selection cannot anticipate future environment on Earth. Okay, so it is saying that it cannot anticipate future environment on Earth. Why? So see, so let us look at this. So let us look at this comprehension one by one. So it is saying natural selection cannot anticipate future environment on Earth. Therefore, the set of existing organisms can never be fully prepared for environmental catastrophe that await life. An outcome of this extension is the extension of those species which cannot overcome environmental adversity. Okay, now let us analyze this. So it is saying natural selection cannot anticipate future environment on Earth. Therefore, the set of existing organisms can never be fully prepared for environmental catastrophe that await life. Okay, so this is a conclusion because we see a conclusion indicator. Therefore, okay, so natural selection cannot anticipate future environment on Earth, and they are saying the set of existing organisms can never be fully prepared. So because they can't anticipate, so they can't prepare. Okay, and now in the next statement, it is saying an outcome of this is the extinction of those species which cannot overcome environmental adversity. So when you can't anticipate, you can't prepare, so you go extinct. Okay, this is the line of logical argumentation which is coming here. Okay, this failure to survive in modern terms can be attributed to genomes. Okay, so this is the conclusion. What an outcome of this is the extinction of those species which cannot overcome environmental adversity. Okay, this is a conclusion. The set of existing organisms can never be fully prepared because you cannot anticipate, so you cannot prepare. So this is the premise here. Okay, this is the conclusion. So, this failure to survive in modern terms can be attributed to genomes which are unable to withstand geological vagaries or biological mishaps. This is again a premise. Why? Because this is a conclusion. Because you will become extinct. Why? Because of your failure to survive, and that is because of your genomes which are not able to withstand geological and biological mishaps. Okay, so it is saying in biological evolution on Earth, extinction has been a major feature. Okay, the Earth may have up to 10 million species, yet more than 90% of these species that have ever lived on Earth are now extinct. So extinction is a major feature. Why? Because of the 90%. So this is a conclusion. Okay, and this is the premise. Why? Because 90% of the species have been extinct. So because of that, we are saying that this is a major feature. Now, once again, the creationist doctrine failed to satisfactorily address why a divine creator will firstly bother to create millions of species and then allow them to perish. Okay, so they are saying that no, none of the creationist doctrines will be able to answer the thing that why a creator is creating species and then it is allowing them to perish. Okay, so this is an introductory statement to further argumentation. Okay, so this can be a premise. Okay, this can be a premise. The Darwinian then allow them to perish. Okay, so what we come to know from this premise is that Darwinian theory advocates that organisms will perish. The Darwinian explanation for extinct life is once again simple and elegant at once. Organisms go extinct as a function of environmental or biological assaults for which in their inheritance deems them ill-equipped. Okay. Therefore, the so-called Darwinian theory of evolution is not a theory at all. So this is a conclusion that Darwinian theory is not a theory at all. And why it is not a theory at all? Because it is a fact. And why it is a fact? Because it is saying that organisms go extinct as a function of environmental and biological assault. So this is a premise and this is the conclusion. Okay, evolution happens. This is a fact. They are saying the mechanism of evolution. Now they are giving supporting premises here. What? That it is amply supported by scientific data, that there is no single biological, botanical, geological, paleontological, genetic or physical evidence has been refuted either of the two main Darwinian ideas if religion is not taken into consideration. Okay, so what is the main reason that we are saying that Darwinian theory of evolution is not a theory, it is a fact? Because extinction is a function of environmental and biological assault, and this is the supporting data they are given, that no scientific theory has been ever been able to prove. There is only a creationist argument that this is Darwinian theory is not correct. Okay, now Darwinian laws are acceptable just like the laws proposed by Copernicus, Galileo, Newton, and Einstein, and it is just telling that like all the proven scientific theory which have been now mathematically proven, and because of that, this theory is just like those theories. Okay, so though we don't have the mathematical relation for Darwinian things, but it is saying that no evidence has been able to refute it, so that is why it is correct, and also because the main reason is that extinction is a function of biological inheritance. Okay, so now we have analyzed our statement well. Let's look at the concept. Okay, so let us look at the concept. Now see, what is the question? With reference to the passage, the following assumption have been made. Okay, so only species that have the ability to overcome environmental and catastrophe will survive and perpetuate. Okay, okay, fine. So see, this assumption is very evident. Okay, this assumption is very evident where, because see, this is the conclusion, and the statement where we have our conclusion, there only we find our assumption. So therefore, the set of existing organisms can never be fully prepared for environmental catastrophe that await life. An outcome of this is the extinction of species which cannot overcome environmental adversity. And so what is this saying? That some organisms, those cannot anticipate and are not fully prepared, will extinct. Okay, and an outcome of this is the extinction of those species which cannot overcome the environmental adversity. Okay, so the assumption is made only that uh, species that have the ability to overcome environmental catastrophe will survive and perpetuate, definitely, because that is what the assumption is unsaid there. Okay, so more than 90% on the are in danger of getting extinct due to drastic changes in environment. This is not an assumption that is mean there. Darwinian theory explains all the natural phenomena. This is also not the assumption there. So we get our answer as one only. Okay, our answer is one only. So I hope you understand this now. It must be clear how we arrive at these arguments. Okay. Now, see, let us consider this question. According to the passage, natural selection cannot anticipate future environment on Earth as species not fully prepared to face the environmental changes that await them will face extinction. All the existing species would get extinct as their genomes will not withstand biological mishap. Inability of the genome to withstand environmental changes would result in extinction, and extinction of a species is a common feature. Okay, so now see, they are saying that natural selection cannot anticipate the future. They are, and what is the evidence for this? Because see, 90% of the species like they became extinct. So this is correct. Okay, and that is also given that the genome cannot withstand environmental changes. So this proves that they cannot anticipate the future. Okay, and species are not fully prepared to face the environmental changes that await them will face extinction. This is also correct, but all the existing species would get extinct as their genome will not withstand biological mishap is wrong. So see, it is very easy to eliminate this second one and get at the correct answer. But now because elimination does not work, so still we can like this is completely illogical. Okay, but these all three items are very well defined in your paragraph, so you can reach at this conclusion. Okay, now let us move forward. Now look at this. It is saying the passage suggests that Darwinian theory of evolution is not a theory at all because, okay, so they are saying that Darwinian theory is of evolution is not a theory at all. This is a conclusion. Because what is the premise for this conclusion? So we already like have seen the premise for this conclusion. What is the premise? We said that extinction is a function of environmental and biological assault for which their inheritance deemed them ill-equipped. Okay, so what they are saying, what is the so our answer comes to be B. Extinction is a function of environmental and biological assault. See, most of the people are going to mark it at there are no evidence of to refute it. But if you understand that what is premise, what is conclusion, okay, and what are the supporting premises, then you will be able to get at this that extinction is a function of environmental and biological assault. So I think you must have understood something how to do assumption question. Okay, so we'll solve more question.